Let's go, girls. Welcome to Talk Wealthy to Me. I'm Michelle Taylor, founder of Women in Wealth. From breaking money myths to building wealth and achieving financial freedom, we're here to empower you to create your own path. Talk Wealthy. Now, join the conversation and let's change the way women think and feel about money. Okay, ready? Hi, everybody. I'm Michelle Taylor, and I am so excited to have you back for another episode of Talk Wealthy to Me. And today I have the honor and privilege of being joined by Jasmine. You are the founder of a wonderfully amazing and needed company called Navi Nurses. So thank you so much for spending time with us today.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for having me. It's an exciting honor to be here. Your podcast is just phenomenal.
Oh, thank you. And I feel like the audience has so much to learn from you. So I'm really excited for the conversation.
Oh, let's dive in. I think there's probably a lot to learn.
So you basically have done what so many women want to do and maybe haven't. You left a very stable, comfortable job to start something on your own, which is terrifying, but also can be the most rewarding thing that anyone's ever done. So tell us and the listeners about your company.
Right. So Navi Nurses is a platform that allows the ordinary person to hire a nurse on demand. And what we specialize in is matching nurses to the needs of people, their medical needs, as well as their personal characteristics. And so we're just in Phoenix, Arizona right now, but we are putting together a playbook for how do we step out of Arizona and grow. And I actually never imagined becoming an entrepreneur or doing all of this. And people ask me frequently, how did you get started? And honestly, you may laugh when I tell you this, but my earliest memories of being an entrepreneur were selling Girl Scout cookies, going door to door.
I love that. And can I just say that I miss the days that we were young and going, well, we're still young, but that we would go door to door. Nowadays, it just seems like it is so just, sign up at this website. But that is truly there to give these young people a crash course in entrepreneurship. So I love that that's your earliest memory.
Yeah, I mean, you learn all the no's right away and you get all the yeses, and just the experience of selling. That's kind of where I started. And I am an unexpected nurse as well. That wasn't my plan. I became a nurse just because I was inspired by the nurses caring for my grandmother when she was sick. And I've been a nurse for 14 years now, but I worked through COVID. And I got to a point where there was no amount of money you could pay me to work any extra in the hospital. I don't care what the bonuses were. I was just get me out of here.
Yeah.
And so I'd always had this idea for this business. And I thought to myself, this is the time to try it. And I think as a nurse, I have that career path where I always know it's in demand, right? I can leave and I can come back. And, and that cushion is really nice to know that's there. So it gave me the opportunity to step away and not be so scared. Mm-hmm. But it did definitely require thoughtfulness and planning as what am I going to set aside? When is that date going to be? And how do I position myself that I can leave and actually survive on, I don't know what's coming in, right? Yeah. As you're building a business, you don't know what's coming in.
So I want to hear what those experiences were like. But before that, so I think that this was described, we were talking about your business, and it's really unique to think it's almost like an Uber for people that need nurses or care. And I immediately thought of my mom, who just last summer had knee surgery, and she wasn't sure how things were going to go. So she was asking me to block off time on the calendar to work from home. And it's tricky with young kiddos. And I just think about, this is such a needed service that you're providing, because if you have somebody that relies on your care and they're having a bad day, you can't quickly pivot to say, okay, well, let me cancel my day, or let you be in pain, or whatever it is. This gives you the alternative of being able to quickly get care for the people that need it, that you care about, without having to disrupt everybody's life and schedule, because we all do. We love the people that we love.
Mm-hmm.
But also it just seems like it would just be such a relief and almost like a security blanket for anybody that has somebody that they may need to provide care for. So what an amazing idea. And I think that every single person listening will be able to say, I know somebody that would be able to use that or benefit from it. So when you decided to leave corporate, or I shouldn't say corporate, but like you're working for somebody else,
Yes.
what did that process look like? Did you have people in your corner that were entrepreneurs that were kind of encouraging you, or did you just figure it out as you went?
So I will say this. I left, my last 8 years were at Mayo Clinic in Arizona. And it's like the best place to work as a nurse, right? We have
Yeah.
great work environment, great pay, great benefits. And when I told my parents first that I was planning on doing this, my dad was so scared. He was like, Jasmine, what are you doing? You can't do that. And they were terrified for me, for sure. But I had some mentors that had helped me develop the idea. We had taken our first 3 clients by this point, and I thought to myself, okay, if I can plan for this to continue, I think I can step away, and at the very least, I can care for these people myself and just pay myself for the care I'm providing them.
Mm-hmm.
And one of my mentors said, no one is going to take you seriously as an entrepreneur if you are still working in the business. You need to work on the business.
Oh my.
And part of that means you've got to get out of the clinical care as soon as you can. You can focus on growing it. And he was so right. And so everything revolved around that one mentor telling me that this is what I need to do. And I'm really grateful for that because it really changed my mindset on how I'm growing and what my goals and objectives were. And it allowed me to move out. So, I mean, I think this conversation happened probably in like January. And I set the date of April Fool's Day. I was like, I'm turning in my 2 weeks on April Fool's Day.
That's
and
amazing.
no, it's not going to be a joke. Like, it's for real. And that's what I did. And I had just kind of saved up, 3-4 months of like money on the side. And I figured I had money in my 401k that if I needed, I would just cash that out to help build it and do all the things, which I ended up doing. And the rest is history.
I think I mentioned this on the show with another guest, but it is such great advice. When you have that backup plan, it almost prohibits you from growing at the speed that you can. And, getting to the yes or the no. Is this a viable business plan? Yes or no? It's going to get you there quicker. If you are dipping your toes in the water, there's just no good way to do that. And one of my best friends, who's a mentor of mine, always talks about burn the ships. Don't give yourself an out. Burn the ships, commit to the vision,
Yep.
and don't accept an alternate plan as a reality. And it does help. And so for you, it's funny because also going back to your parents being scared to death, I remember having those conversations with my parents when I was going to leave the same situation. And it does make you gut check yourself a little bit because your parents always have your best interest in mind, obviously. But you also just expect them to be your biggest advocates. So when they're so cautious, like, are you sure you want to do this? Or are you crazy? This is not good. It is so ground shaking, but even more, I think it shows what a commitment this was for you to bring this service out to the people that need it. And now I'm sure that they are so proud of you and like it's so great, and it's like, yeah, if I had not listened to myself and instead listened to you, who knows if we would have been here. But it's hard. It's unknown.
Yeah. And I think from their perspective, right? Like, I'm not married. I don't have kids. So I didn't have the responsibility of children that I needed to provide for. It was just myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I also didn't have like a partner who could be there as well to help make sure I had benefits or make sure I had insurance or just someone there that if I had a hard month that there would be just a little extra support.
Yeah.
And so I think all of those things like kind of made them a little bit more anxious, but.
Absolutely. So you prepared by saving enough money so that you could pay yourself. I tell entrepreneurs that I work with all the time, there are going to be huge peaks and then also huge valleys. And if you are ever going to get through it unscathed and stay committed to what you're building, you've got to have the consistency of income, getting off the roller coaster. So setting up that salary for yourself is so, I think, critical to giving yourself the time and freedom to go through the highs and lows, because it's inevitable. It happens in every business. So that is fantastic advice. What else did you do? You didn't set out to be an entrepreneur. So where did you go next? You had the money, you had the idea. Now what?
Yeah. So honestly, I was like, how can I get money for free without going to investors? And you know, in the beginning, there was a gentleman that offered me $250,000. Like when it was just an idea, he was like, "You're smart. I like your idea. I want to invest in you." And in hindsight, if I would have taken the money, I would have had no idea what I was doing with it that early on, for sure. But I was like, I don't want to bring on investors right away. Like, can I bring on money from grants and other things?
That's so smart.
So I applied for a program called the Arizona Innovation Challenge through the Arizona Commerce Authority, and that gave me $150,000 plus a year long of mentorship. And the mentorship was probably equally, if not more important than the money itself.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
And then I continued on and applied for a grant through the Flynn Foundation, which is a local Arizona foundation that helps support things related to healthcare. And that gave me $30,000. But one of the really big turning points for me was actually I applied for a grant from the American Nurses Foundation to study our work. And that gave our business $1.5 million to actually study what we're doing. And while we can't use any of that for like profit or anything proprietary, it's helping to fund the research that will allow me to open more doors in the future. And so having access to that capital, that funding, has really made a big difference, I think, in our trajectory and what that looks like years now from the road.
Oh my gosh. So any of you listening, take note if you're driving, mental notes, or pull over. But I think that there are so many women that don't consider doing the research and figuring out what grants and what philanthropic things are out there. And we leave so much on the table that may prohibit an idea from ever coming to fruition. That's a good one. So anyone listening, do your research, look and see who out there wants to be giving you money. I think that there's probably a ton. So that's incredible. And that's game-changing money.
100%.
That's wild. So, okay, so then you have the grants and you're learning. Did you have any examples of what entrepreneurship would look like growing up? Did you have any friends that were entrepreneurs? Were you focused on just what the business would look like? Did you think about what life would look like in a, everybody thinks when they become an entrepreneur that you're going to work less and you're working for yourself. The reality is you work so much more. It's just a little bit more impactful. But did you have any expectations of entrepreneurship as you were building this?
So my parents were actually small business owners.
Okay, so
they imported art from Mexico. And I can remember from the time I was probably like 7 or 8, just meeting the artisans and carrying stuff around and boxing things up. And so a big part of my childhood was in the back of their stores in Old Town Scottsdale with direct interaction with customers all the time. But again, like I never really thought that entrepreneurship was my
calling.
I just did what I had to do as a family member, right? Like you help family out and, mom needs you to go do this. So you do it and she's going to hop out. So you're going to watch the store and sell all the paintings that you can and like try to show her up, like that you did more than she did. But yeah, I think I had that experience around me. But I think there's a big difference between a small business and a startup. There's just so much that's different in terms of the scale and the speed and the types of people you need around you and the way you get going. They're really two just different beasts. But I think the work ethic, knowing that you're going to work like 80 plus hours a week, like that doesn't change.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I see so many young people that see the glamorous side of entrepreneurship and think, well, that's what I want to do. I almost consider the grit and the work ethic as and learning how to communicate with people and communicate with clients and customers. That's something that's really hard to teach. It's easy to teach the you know the minutia of being a business owner, how to set up systems and processes, but in order to truly find success, that kind of work ethic and grit is something that you you either have it or you don't, or you need to develop it as you go, because that's the secret sauce, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that coupled with having a really clear understanding of the problem you're trying to solve or the
Absolutely.
solution you're trying to create, those two things together are so important. And I mean, for any of the clinicians who are listening, I actually think my 3 days working in a hospital were way more exhausting for me than working 80 plus hours. Like I tell myself all the time, if I could make it through COVID, if I could work 3 shifts in a hospital every week, like this is a piece of cake.
Mm-hmm.
Everything you learn in the hospital just really sets you up for success in building something because you have the resilience, you have the grit, and you know what it takes.
So when you were growing up, what did you what did you think about when you thought about wealth and money and your parents being entrepreneurs, I small business owners? There's a lot that comes with that, the emotional things that happen to a family, but just in and of itself, was there anything that you remember being younger and thinking, this is what success looks like, this is what I, as a nurse or whatever you would end up being, this is what it will look like when I get there? Um, like for me, I always said, and I've said it to you guys so many times, but I always thought, when I can have fresh flowers in my house all the time, I will know that I have made it. Or my friends, that their family had a garage refrigerator. That meant to me that they must be successful. So there were those like little things growing up that kind of drove me to work hard. Did you have any things that you thought, oh, I'm going to get there, and when I get there, that's what it's going to be like?
Oh, it's so interesting. So I'm a hybrid. My dad is Pakistani and my mom is Polish and Austrian. So she grew up in the Midwest. When I think about my dad's side of the family, like the Brown side of the family, success is measured by how intelligent you are and what sort
Mm-hmm.
of career you have. So I have a family on his side full of physicians and engineers, right? Like that's what they do.
That's
So
it.
success
Yeah.
wasn't really around something monetary or tangible. It was really on your level of education and what you were doing in the world. But my parents sacrificed a lot. Like my dad came here with absolutely nothing. Like he came here with a free plane ticket to come to the US to come to college, worked his whole way through. And growing up as children, my parents gave everything back to us. We went to private schools. We saw what it was like to live life that was not like ours, like people that lived in these mansions and had maids and they had all of these things. And so I think I had the experience of seeing what that could look like. I don't necessarily think it was something that I wanted. What I did want was actually one of my friends had a trampoline, and it was they'd carved out the space for the trampoline
In the
in the
ground.
ground, and I was like, oh my god, that is what I want. Like I think if you were asking me as a child, that would have been success for me, having like a trampoline that was like ground level with the ground outside.
I love that.
But like honestly, I don't. For me, I think it's really all been how success is measured by the mark you leave in terms of what you accomplish and what you do. And I still kind of feel that way. I think
Yeah.
truly.
Well, and I think that that's an important thing that we talk about all the time, is success doesn't have to look for you like it does for other people. It is truly a definition that you get to write. And for some people, it's being able to take their kids to school every single day and take a summer vacation. For others, it's getting a PhD. And I want everyone listening to always feel empowered to go out and figure out what your definition of success is, and have the courage and the tools that you need to go out and give it your best effort to create what it looks like. And nothing should stand in the way of that. So I think that hearing you say that is so true. There's so many times that I have women on that'll say the same thing. It was all about education, which would explain why they were also so scared for you.
Yeah.
Because now you were going into the great unknown of entrepreneurship, which is a whole other layer. So, what is next for your business? Are you thinking about 10 years from now, 20 years from now? What does that perfect picture look like?
I don't know if there's such a thing as perfect picture, right? It's the picture of what it evolves into.
Yes.
But I think I set goals every single day and every month. And I have this big goal of like creating something that changes lives around the US and potentially around the globe. I don't know what that looks like yet, but I know that that's the direction I'm heading in and building for. How do I create this global movement of moving nurses into the homes in a way that is facilitated by people, where people have the power, not the institutions? That's really important to me. So all of my decisions revolve around that. But, I mean, there's big dreams. I sit and talk to people and I tell them where we're at revenue-wise and all the things that we've done. Like, we just wrapped up year 4 and we've bootstrapped the company and hit $5 million in revenue last year. And
Wow.
the goal is to double that this year, all without raising money. So one of my really just immediate goals is, how can I continue to go without raising money? What are the other ways I can look for funding now that I've been able to prove that we have something that's working? Like, how do I talk to banks and see how about getting loans and thinking more creatively about my money and even investing it, right? So I've kind of dabbled in like, how do I now start to invest in other entrepreneurs that I'm like, oh my gosh, I love what they're doing because I'm surrounded by them.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's going to go somewhere. Like, can I just take some money from the business and have the business actually invest in them? So that way there's an asset now that when it does come like to fruition, that the business now has an ownership in this asset. It's kind of like how all the hospitals buy real estate, right? That's how I like perceive it to be.
So leaving the impact is really the big thing. As long as you're leaving an impact and making everyone's lives better, that is going to be the goal. And it doesn't matter how you get there.
Yeah, I think that's it. That's my purpose.
I love it so much. And you just mentioned something, and I want to go back to the initial investor that said, we'll give you this money. What made you say no?
So his name was Mike. We called him Money Mike, actually, because there were so many Mikes around us. And it was actually a realization we came to together of him recognizing that we didn't know what to do with it, right? As a team, I was like, gosh, like there's so many things I need to do. And instead, what he gave me is he gave me the book Venture Deals. I'm not sure if you've read that before. But he was like, you are so smart. I have no doubt you can do all this on your own, but you can do it. And here's a book.
Oh
so it's a great book for anyone who's listening and they haven't read it yet.
I love it. I actually have not read that. Okay. So we'll put that in the show notes for everybody. Always looking for good resources. And I love that you came to the realization together. It wasn't like an uncomfortable, angry conversation. It was just what was best. That's amazing. So for anyone listening, what is a piece of advice that you would give them when they're thinking about starting a company, jumping out on their own?
Well, number one, I would say just do it, right? If you have an idea and you know that there's a need, go for it, right? There's nothing holding you back. I pretty much started this with nothing. I started it with all like money that I really won. And there are resources out there. So if you put in the effort to look for them, they're there. There's like millions of dollars, like you were saying, on the table. And if who's better to have it than you?
That's right.
Like you have an opportunity. Like there's no one better than you to actually receive it. So I think that's been like a mind shift for me, as just like there's opportunity everywhere. You just have to look for it and it's there. Yeah. So I think that's what I would say. And we talked on like paying yourself. I barely paid myself in the beginning. Like the first few months I paid myself $2,000 a month. Like,
oh my word.
Like that's it. But I couldn't deal with the fact of like, oh my gosh, like how can I pay myself? Like what happens if something goes wrong? And I finally got to a point this year where I started to pay myself a more reasonable salary for like the first time in 4 years. And it's really put me in an abundance mindset, which is where I want to be, right? Like
I love that.
I want to feel like everything I have, I need. I'm not needing anything as a human, because that same anxiety translates into my business.
Well, and so much of what we do day to day as entrepreneurs and as just women who wear many hats is so difficult that money shouldn't be part of that difficulty. And it makes it easier to see the forest through the trees when that part of your life is in alignment. I think if you have the expectation of, I'm not expecting this to pay me millions of dollars, but I also want to feel that I'm giving myself the permission to buy that thing that I feel like I need or go on this trip that I really want to go on, celebrate the little wins. It gives you just that extra kind of push to keep going on the hard days.
Yeah. And I think the other thing too is like when you celebrate them big. Like,
Yes.
I just took this course at Wharton 2 weeks ago on how to scale a company. And I was like, I'm going to take myself out for a nice dinner by myself. So I went and had dinner by myself on like the 60th floor of the Four Seasons.
Oh my God.
And it was delightful. But just the act of like spoiling myself for that one night was so beautiful. And I think the more you put yourself in those places of where you want to be, the more you feel it, the more real it becomes. Mm-hmm. And that's what gets you closer and closer, by really feeling the things that you want to work towards.
Oh, absolutely. Celebrate the wins. Make sure that you're talking about your wins. That's another thing that women don't do the best job of, is having the conversations with the people around you. Talk about the good things that are happening, and it encourages you to keep reaching even further.
Yeah. And just one last thing that I want to share too.
Yes.
So I love this song, and I hope your listeners all can listen to this. But there is this album I listened to by this artist. It's Joy Plus Soul.
Okay.
And there's this song, and it's called Abundance.
Okay.
And it's just like this abundance manifestation song. And I listen to it like all the time. And I've never believed in the power of manifestation ever more in my life. And I feel like that just putting me in that sense of being and feeling, oh my gosh, it's amazing. So make sure you take a listen to it. It's amazing.
I love that. Set up your environment for success and giving you all of the pats on the backs and encouragement that you need. So, okay, last thing I want to ask you. What do you think was your biggest mistake in all of this?
Oh gosh, I make mistakes all the time.
Which is amazing, by the way, because that's how we learn. But was there one point where you think, oh man, that was a time when I should have gone right and instead I went left?
One of the hardest things about starting a startup is you're bringing on people that you have no idea what their jobs should entail, or how to even measure or qualify them for what they need to be doing. And you really have to go off of your intuition. Like, does this person feel right for the job? And I have brought on some people to our team that I've just had that feeling of they're not the right person, and they're expensive. They're not cheap. They're people who have lots of experience, and I pay them way more than I pay myself even now. But I try to hold on to them because I feel like maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm not giving them enough credit. But what I've come to realize is that if I don't see what I need quickly, then I'm probably right in my initial assessment. And I've wasted time for myself, money from the business. And now I have to go back out and restart a search all over again. And so making a wrong hire can cost you a lot, emotionally, financially.
Yes.
And it's draining. And so I think those will always happen, but I hope to get better at managing those in the future. It just takes experience, I think.
Oh, yeah. And it's that old saying, right? Hire slow, fire fast.
Yeah.
Save yourself, pull off the Band-Aid. If you know that a mistake has been made and you're confident in that, don't waste time.
Exactly.
Turn the ship around. Go in a different direction.
You can do it. You got to do it.
Well, I am so excited to see what is next for you and what this future looks like. I know personally, I can think of probably 100 people that need what you're doing, and I'm just so proud of you, and I think it's incredible. Where can people follow along on your journey and keep in touch?
Oh my gosh, you're so So thoughtful for allowing me to share. Thank
Yes,
you.
please.
We're obviously on LinkedIn and TikTok and Instagram, and it's just at Navi Nurses or at Navi Nurses, and then our website is navinurses.com. So you can always take a look and learn more. And I'm happy to help even mentor anyone who's listening and they're curious and they want to learn a little bit more. Maybe they're a clinician as well. I'm happy to.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
that is
help.
so generous. Take her up on that. If you have questions, whenever anyone tells you that they are willing to help, take them up on it. They wouldn't say it if they didn't mean it. And I think you've got a lot of life experience and business experience to offer. So that is wonderful.
Oh.
And as always, guys, I mean, these are the kind of stories that should inspire all of us to listen to our intuition, listen to those little voices, build something that is amazing, and ultimately just build the story of your success on your terms and celebrate your wins along the way. As always, like, share, subscribe, and until next time, let's continue to change the way women think and feel about money together.